Hi everybody, welcome to week 2 of your healthcare research course. Welcome back, and I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving holiday. All right, we're off to week 2. So let's start off. Your first DQ question has to do with bias. And bias is something that maybe is fairly obvious as something as a potential source of bias, and it's something that the researchers can try to prevent. Or maybe it's something very subconscious that's really hard to pick up from the researcher's perspective. Let's look at some examples. Um, let's say that you are trying to do a study about breastfeeding. So, where are you going to get your participants in the study? Let's say you're maybe in an urban setting. If you went to the WIC clinic, Women, Infants, and Children Program Clinic, to try to get your participants, you will often have a very different outcome, or maybe just different population, than if you went to a private breastfeeding help company, maybe run by a nurse or something like that. You're very likely to hit two very different segments of the population potentially. What about the people that you didn't recruit or who declined to be part of a study? That's always an interesting component to consider. Why did they decline, and were they substantially different from the people who took place in the study? Then there's things like the wording in maybe questionnaires or interview questions that you would use. Is your wording at an appropriate grade level? Is there any regional colloquialisms that you're using in your questionnaire or your interview questions? Sample size can bring in bias. Oh, there's just so many sources. So it's a really interesting area to read about. So I hope you'll find that interesting. I think we'll have some good discussion this week about that. And then your second DQ question has to do with research question and theory, and which comes first and which comes second. I have some slightly different opinions than what's presented in your text, so I hope to have some good conversation about that this week. As you're looking through your course materials, there is a very good tutorial on finding research articles, and if you're having problems with that, I would suggest you look at that tutorial. I think that will help you. All right, so by this time you'll have turned in your evidence-based practice article summary, so that will be good. I found that some people you were able to definitely verbalize the difference between evidence-based practice and research utilization, but maybe had a little bit of difficulty identifying in an article evidence-based practice versus a research article. So remember, a research article is you're doing something that hasn't been done before. There was a gap in the research literature, and the study is addressing that. Whereas an evidence-based practice article, it's something that has been done before, that's been proven to be effective, and that now is being re-implemented, maybe at a different site or something like that, to see if the same results are obtained. So it's looking at all the research coming together with something that's already been proven and then trying it again. Okay? So I'll be interested in reading your evidence-based practice summaries. If you did really well on a paper, you'll probably just get a few sentences from me, and that will be reflected in your rubric scores. If you had problems in your paper, I will try to give you as much feedback as I can, because ultimately I want you to be successful in meeting the content objectives and also in improving your writing. And so I will give you as much feedback as I can narrative-wise actually on your paper, and then I'll try to explain why the rubric score was obtained. If you ever have any questions about any feedback that I give you, never hesitate to ask, because I really want to make sure that it's really clear and hopefully helpful to you. Okay, so then this week we're going to do, you're going to be turning in a short paper about the quantitative and quantitative research articles that you found that you'll be using throughout the rest of this course. Okay? And I think I talked last week. You want just a qualitative article and just a quantitative article. Don't do a mixed methods and don't do a systematic review. Okay, we want some pure quantitative, qualitative. You'll find it much easier to complete your assignments that way. Okay, so you're going to be submitting one paper that summarizes both of them. It's only 350 to 500 words, so you're just going to give me the nitty gritty. Okay, your articles can be on the same topic, they can be on different topics. Doesn't matter to me. It has to be something nursing related. But as long as they're quantitative and quantitative, I don't care about the topic. An abstract is not required for the paper, but turn it in is required. So make sure you hit that submit button so I can get a turn it in score. And then you're going to be working on your CLC evidence-based practice agreement. I'm pretty sure in your last course you had to do a CLC agreement. And so you'll be doing one for this course, and then there is that study guide that kind of tells you every single week what you should be working on in your CLC, because you're going to be looking at evidence-based practice. The steps that you'll be doing in your CLC are very similar to the steps that you'll be using in your very last course, which is an individual evidence-based practice project. Okay, so pay attention. You'll see the material come back again at the end of your program. Okay, so I think that's about it. Oh, my phone's ringing. See you in the main forum.